I think on and off. I think I had my own apartment by then, but I spent a lot more time at the Eastern after that.
Okay. I'm going to take you to April 21, 2016, Amber's 30th birthday party. Were you present for that?
Of course she was.
Can you please describe to the jury what you observed that night?
It was her 30th birthday, so we
So a
wanted to
bitch was
make it,
depressed.
excuse me, really special.
A bitch was depressed.
We had made this
Getting
beautiful
old.
dinner.
Ain't
You know,
20s
it
no
was,
more.
It was great. All of her close friends were there, and everyone was having a really good time. Everyone was having fun. You know, Johnny showed up very, very late, and he was drunk when he showed up.
Of course he was.
Amber was obviously upset about it, but there came a time in the party where we all went around the table and said our favorite thing about Amber. You know, just funny memories or whatever.
Praise Amber.
When it came to Johnny's turn, he
Clown a bit.
told this story about how they first met when they met for the Rum Diary. So, you know, he had this story about how she came in to his office and she sat on the couch and her perfect ass left a perfect imprint on the couch, and he wouldn't let anyone sit there after she left that day. And it was one of those stories that everyone was kind of embarrassed. You know, we had all gone around the table saying really nice things about her, and
That is a nice
talking
thing.
about her ass.
That's not a nice thing, bitch. Come on,
we
man.
were all
You mad because
kind
he
of
didn't say that shit
embarrassed.
about you.
And
See, she
when
jealous
did you
of her
leave the
sister,
party
but
that
she
night?
got to fuck with her sister. You
I
feel me?
left pretty shortly after that.
Okay.
And I went home.
It's a
What, if any,
disgruntled
conversation
bitch.
did you have with Mr. Depp about his
Look at
plans
this bitch
to attend
forehead.
Coachella the next
It's a
day?
disgruntled
He was
bitch
planning on
right
coming
here.
to Coachella with us. You know, at some point we were talking about what was happening the next day, and so that night he told us he was going to come to Coachella with us the next day.
Okay.
They was like,
And did
no,
he
we don't
ultimately
want you to
Coachella
come.
with you the next day?
Nope.
Okay.
We don't want you to
I'm
come,
going to jump
Johnny.
forward to talk about
We can't be hoes
some
if you
statements
come.
that made the counterclaim. What, if any, observations did you make about how the statements, we're talking about the three
Where's
statements
Camille at?
that we're quoting Adam Waldman, impacted Amber? And I'm asking for your observations. Just tell the jury what your observations were of how these statements impacted Amber.
Objection, Your Honor. Compound lack of
Where's
foundation.
Camille at?
Overruled. That's fine.
Thank you.
Amber has worked so hard to overcome everything that she went through in the duration of their relationship. She has really, really tried her best to move past it. And anybody that knows Amber at all knows that some of the most important things to her are honesty, integrity. Her reputation is all
my
she has.
God.
She doesn't have piles of money and private islands or.
Objection, Your Honor. Sustain the objection.
She
please
was
continue with what
she was devastated by these. To say that they're not true, it devastated her. And also, we had just buried our mother. You know, so Amber, she started having panic attacks randomly. She was not sleeping.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
These are your observations.
overruled.
Thank you. Please continue.
These statements devastated her.
Amber
They
just
devastated
was way
her because
better
they
than
weren't
that
true, and they were just very, very, very much affected.
Amber looks great.
You talked about panic attacks.
Compared to
what else
that
did you
bitch.
observe that she would do as a result of these? A physical.
She would just periodically just break into tears. She, I don't know how else to describe it. She was so unwell. She stopped sleeping again. She was super anxious. She couldn't relax. She couldn't sit still. It was very similar to the Amber that I had seen back in 2016 as she was trying to get out of this relationship. It launched her back into this space where she was just so physically unwell, and she cried a lot.
Everybody is preoccupied with taking care of Amber.
Good afternoon, Ms. Enriquez. We haven't met before. My name's Rebecca Lecaros. I'm one of the lawyers representing Mr. Depp in this case. You grew up in Texas with your sister and your parents, right?
Correct.
And you were really close with Ms. Heard
There we
growing
go.
up?
We were.
And you're still close now, right?
We are.
Here we go.
And you love her.
Of course.
Here we go.
And your childhood, though, had some difficult moments, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Your father hit you and your sister at times, right?
Father whooped your ass.
Yes.
And your sister would protect you from that abuse when she could, wouldn't she?
Hey, Father whooped your ass.
We would protect each other, for sure.
And when you graduated from high school, you moved out to Los Angeles, right?
I did.
And your sister gave you a place to live in LA?
Yes.
And she helped support you?
In part, I also was working myself, and yeah,
And you're grateful to her for being there when you needed her, right?
Grateful to.
of course.
And just like she protected and cared for you, you want to protect and care for her, right?
She
It's about to go up.
when
I'm
I
feeling
can,
it.
of course.
I'm
but-
feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
You testified to having a great
feeling
relationship
it.
with Mr. Depp when you first started dating your sister, right?
Correct.
And you thought of him as a brother.
Yes.
He called you sis,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you had affectionate nicknames for him too, didn't you?
A number of them, yes.
Yeah.
What was some of that?
And you testified that for a time you lived in the ECB penthouses with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard.
Lived in
That's
the
correct.
penthouse.
And Mr. Depp owned those penthouses?
He did.
You didn't pay rent while you were living there, right?
Didn't pay rent, bitch, did ya?
Penthouses.
No. It's very generous.
Ungrateful hoe.
And Rocky Pennington lived in one of those
Ungrateful
penthouses,
hoe.
right?
She did.
And at some point, her boyfriend Josh Drew moved in, right?
Yes.
Everybody
And
living
Isaac
off of
Bruce,
Johnny.
lived in one of those penthouses too. Yes.
Free.
And you know that he testified here that you call him your spirit animal, right?
I did not know that, but he's wonderful.
You call him your spirit animal?
At one point I did, yes.
Yeah, you did, bitch. You loved them. You
took trips
loved
with your
them.
sister and Mr. Depp also, right?
It was taking
Okay.
care of y'all,
You didn't pay for
motherfucker.
those either, right?
Nope. I did not.
During the course of
Shout out
Mr.
to the
Depp and
bitch
Ms.
in the
Heard's
audience with the
relationship,
pink on.
you
Shout
were
out to the
frequently
bitch in the
involved in their
audience with the
arguments,
pink
weren't
on.
Yes.
She's standing out.
you? In fact, you had a nickname, right?
Marriage counselor.
Yes. You often found yourself mediating
Oh!
disputes between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, right?
They're about
Really
to get
not
it
very well, but
cracking.
yes.
And when you were in that role of marriage counselor, you empathized with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes, on occasion.
Yeah,
Because you had a pretty good understanding of what he was going through.
yeah.
Depended on the situation.
You know
Sometimes I
Amber
could
is a
totally see it from
bitch.
his
You know
perspective.
she's
Other
a
times I thought from her
bitch. You know
perspective.
she hard to
You've been there
deal
with
with.
Ms. Heard before, right?
Come on now.
We're sisters. Of course we've argued.
And you knew what it was like to want to run away for days and do your own thing and not have Ms. Heard there fighting with you, right?
I think that's kind of taken out of context a little bit. I think more metaphorically. But yes, I have been in arguments with my sister.
And you have wanted to run away for days, right?
Sure,
And not have her there fighting with you.
sure.
You wanted to get away from that bitch, haven't you? Didn't you? Didn't you want to get away from that bitch sometimes?
You talked a little bit about the incident in March 2013, right?
Which one?
That was the one before you went to the Keith Richards
Yes.
documentary set? And you were present with Mr. Depp at Orange that day?
I was.
Didn't you do cocaine with Mr. Depp that afternoon?
Yes.
And you said Mr. Depp's already intoxicated
He was by the time I got there.
and he was fighting with your sister?
He wasn't doing much of anything. He was sat at the table. He was telling me about the fight that they had.
So
he
he'd
was
been,
kind of
he'd been
ignoring.
fighting with your sister that day when you arrived.
That was my understanding.
And you said she had a puffy face.
Yes.
But y'all still did
And
cocaine.
despite all of that, you decided it was a good idea to do cocaine with Mr. Depp?
Ah,
I
yes.
hadn't yet connected the dots. I hadn't yet understood what that meant or what that would do.
That was a yes?
You did cocaine
Yes, you
after
took
that.
cocaine with Mr. Depp after
I
all
did.
that?
Yes, I
You
already
did
said that.
cocaine, bitch. Huh? It was still good. It was still all right to do some cocaine, huh?
You testified that you had suspicions that Mr. Depp was allegedly hitting your sister by some point in 2013, right?
suspicions.
And notwithstanding that, in June 2013, you were actually joking with Mr. Depp about hitting your sister, right?
Regrettably, over a text message, yes.
That you were encouraging him to hit her,
You was encouraging
Not
him to
literally
hit her.
Encouraging him to hit her.
but you were joking about it.
But it was a
Regrettably,
joke.
Yes. Again, Lex.
It was a joke.
I did not have an understanding fully of what that was. I never would have said
She need
that
her
now
ass
than
whooped
I know.
sometime. Hey, man.
But that was alleged. That was around the time.
She
that
need
you
her
allegedly
ass whooped
became aware that he
sometimes.
was-
I don't
there were
know.
injuries on your sister.
She
that
need her
caused you
ass
to have
whooped
suspicion.
sometimes.
I don't know if it was around the same time.
Turning to the staircase incident in March 2015, you testified that Mr. Depp allegedly hit you during that incident, right?
Yes.
But you weren't sure if that contact was even meant for you, right?
I honestly don't. I don't know what he was aiming for. My back was to him.
And you weren't injured during that incident, right?
No, I wasn't.
And you didn't seek medical attention?
No,
And you said Debbie Lloyd was there during all of that, correct?
she was.
And Mr. Depp's security, Travis McGivern, was there too?
Yes, he was.
Secure, all kind of secure.
And you saw your sister hit Mr. Depp on the stairs that day, right?
After he struck me, yes.
He struck you.
You said she landed one, right?
She landed one.
And then the next day, you found some damage in the adjoining penthouse.
Correct.
And we saw some pictures of what you saw that day, right?
Yes.
Did you see Johnny do?
You thought it was important to document that damage, right?
Thought it was
Not
important
to
to document.
It was Kevin's job to kind of clean up the houses, take care of the houses. I took pictures just so he could be aware of what he would need to bring. I didn't know if he had tools
thought it
here
was
or
important
whatever.
to
I was just
document
preparing
that.
him for what he was going to have to fix.
But did you
But you
see
didn't
him
take
do
any
it?
pictures of your sister that day, right?
No, I didn't.
But you took pictures of the damage. But you didn't take pictures of the bitch.
Now, after March 2015, you continued to have a close relationship with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes,
And y'all
you
was
still
still
loved him.
bull.
of course.
And you were there for him if he needed you, right?
Of course.
I like how she's doing
And
this.
in fact, just a couple of weeks after that
I
staircase
like how
incident,
she's
you were still
doing
acting
this.
as the marriage counselor, weren't you?
The lawyer.
At some point, sure.
And that fall, after the staircase incident, October 2015, you claim you had seen Mr. Depp hitting your sister. And then in October 2015, you were actually still trying to reconcile him and your sister when they were fighting, right?
You still trying to get it to
Yes,
work because
I
you know that
was
paper was
asked to
online.
support. I was just trying to help
Don't fuck up the paper,
what I thought they
bitch.
both wanted.
Come on, bitch, calm
I
down.
was just trying to support, or trying my
Bitch,
best
you got to
to
get
support them
along
the
with
way
this
that I thought I
motherfucker. This
could.
Jack Sparrow,
You
bitch.
still loved Mr. Depp at that point, right?
Of course she did.
I did.
Of course she did.
And you didn't think that he and your
He's
sister
fucking
were
Johnny
past
Depp.
the point of no return, right?
She want to
What
fuck
I
him
thought
too.
was irrelevant at that point. I really, those two were in love and they were working very hard. They wanted to be together, it seemed like, so I just helped as best as I could. I
I
don't know
was
how else
trying to
describe
help
it.
keep them together.
Your sister still wanted to be with Mr.
Trying to
Depp,
help her
right?
keep the
She loved
bag.
him.
We don't want her to lose the bag.
And you didn't think they were past the point of no return.
I don't know what you mean by that exactly.
Bitch, you know what she mean.
Let's take a look at.
Come on now, bitch.
Plaintiff's Exhibit 1283. It's not yet in evidence. We'll just show that to the witness. I've got this, if I might approach, Your Honor, I have this in redacted and unredacted. form.
Okay, you want to come forward?
Okay. This bitch is about to get picked apart. I feel it. I love the way the demeanor changes. I love the way they demeanor change when they start getting pressed with questions, with hard questions. I love the way they demeanor change when they get pressed with the hard question. See, motherfuckers should be the same when they trying to take a motherfucker down and when they getting pressed. The way they respond to the questions, the body language, all that shit needs to be the same. But see, you notice that when a bitch is getting, when the lawyer that's for her is pressing, I mean is questioning her, it's a different vibe. And then when she started getting pressed by the negative lawyer, then it's a different vibration. When it gotta be the same.